Buckle up, everybody, because Formula One is B by C's, and this season, it's going to be wild.
Yeah, you're telling me. This 2025 driver lineup, it's like something out of a fantasy league.
Seriously, right. I mean, we've got rookies going up against some of the biggest names in the sport championship contenders, switching teams. It's crazy.
Totally. And that's what we're diving into today, the 2025 F1 season, all the new teammate pairings and what it all means for the championship battle.
Exactly. And our friends over at F1 Blogs have the full breakdown. So let's jump right in.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so first things first, the rookies. We've got 3 brand new drivers joining the grid this year: Kimi Antonelli, Liam Lawson, and Gabriel Bortoleto.
Yeah, a pretty impressive rookie class, if you ask me.
For sure.
Yeah.
And can we talk about Antonelli for a second? This kid is only 18 years old.
I know, right?
Not
Talk
bad.
about pressure. I mean, imagine being 18 years old and stepping into a Formula One car for the first time.
I can't even imagine. It's got to be a wild ride.
Definitely. And it's not just about driving the car. It's about handling the pressure, the media, the expectations.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And speaking of pressure, these rookies aren't just joining any teams. They're going up against some serious veterans.
Exactly. Like Liam Lawson. He's at Red Bull with Max Verstappen, the reigning world champion.
Talk about a tough act to follow. I mean, Verstappen is the clear favorite to win the championship again this year.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's been on another level these past few seasons. But don't count Lawson out just yet.
Right. He's a talented driver.
Yeah.
And Red Bull has a history of giving their young drivers a chance to prove themselves.
Yeah, but they also don't mess around. Remember what happened with Sergio Perez?
Oh, yeah. He had a couple of decent seasons with the team. Even won a few races.
Right. But it was never enough to really challenge Verstappen, and eventually they decided to move on.
Yes, so Lawson definitely has his work cut out for him.
He does. But that's what makes this season so exciting. You never know what's going to happen.
That's for sure.
Okay.
All right, so we've talked about Red Bull. Let's move on to another team with a potentially explosive driver pairing Ferrari.
Ooh, yeah, Ferrari. This one's going to be interesting.
They've got Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton.
The Monegasque prodigy versus the 7-time world champion.
Wow.
I mean, come on. Does it get any better than that?
Seriously. It's like a dream matchup.
Right. And, both of these guys are hungry for a championship.
Oh, absolutely. Leclerc has been carrying the Ferrari hopes for years now. And Hamilton, well, he's always looking for another title.
Exactly. So the question is, can they work together?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, both of these guys are used to being the #1 driver.
Yeah. And they're both super competitive.
So there's definitely potential for some fireworks there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But it's going to be fun to watch.
All right. Let's move on to another team with a lot of potential this year. McLaren.
McLaren, the defending Constructors' champions. Can they do it again this year with their new driver lineup?
Well, they've got Norris and Oscar Piastri, 2 young and incredibly talented drivers.
Yeah, and we saw last year that there's no clear #1 driver at McLaren.
Right, which led to some pretty intense battles on track.
Yeah, remember that incident at Silverstone?
Oh, yeah, that was a close one.
So it's going to be interesting to see how these two drivers work together.
For sure. They're both capable of winning races. But can they do it while also working for the team?
That's the key, right?
Exactly. It's a delicate balance. But if they can find it, McLaren could be a force to be reckoned with this season.
I'm excited to see what they can do.
Okay.
So we've talked about Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren. Let's take a look at some of the other teams and see what kind of surprises they might have in store for us.
Sounds good. Let's do it. All right, so let's start with Williams. They've got Carlos Sainz Jr. back in Formula One.
Yeah, it's a big comeback for him after a couple of tough years at Ferrari.
Right. He's definitely got something to prove.
And he's got a pretty solid teammate in Alex Albon.
Oh, yeah. Albon has been quietly impressive at Williams.
Yeah, he's consistently outperforming the car.
Exactly.
Right.
He's a real talent. And I think he could push Sainz to be even better.
I agree. It'll be interesting to see how they work together.
For sure. All right, let's move on to AlphaTauri.
AlphaTauri. They've got Yuki Tsunoda and rookie Isaac Hadjar.
Yeah, Tsunoda is now the senior driver on the team.
Which is kind of crazy to think about considering he's only been in F1 for a few years.
I know, right? Time flies. But Tsunoda has definitely shown flashes of brilliance.
Yeah, like that amazing overtake on Hamilton at Silverstone last year.
Exactly. He's got the speed, but he needs to be more consistent.
And that's where Hadjar comes in. He's a highly rated rookie coming off a dominant season in Formula 2.
Yeah, he's the real deal. And I think he'll learn a lot from Tsunoda.
It'll be interesting to see how they develop as a pairing.
Definitely. All right, let's talk about Alpine.
Alpine, they got Esteban Ocon and Jack Doohan.
Yeah, another interesting rookie-veteran pairing.
Ocon has been a solid performer for a few years now.
He has. He's consistent, he's reliable, and he's capable of pulling off some surprises.
And Doohan, well, he's a bit of an unknown quantity.
He is, but he's got a lot of potential. And he's coming from the Alpine Academy, so they obviously believe in him.
It'll be interesting to see how he adapts to F1.
For sure. All right, let's move on to another team that's undergone a major transformation, Audi.
Wow, Audi. It's crazy to think that they're now in Formula One.
I know, right? It's a big deal. And they've got a really interesting driver lineup with Nico Hülkenberg.
Hülkenberg. The Hulk! He's back!
He is, and he's bringing all of his experience and consistency to the team.
Yeah, he's known for being super reliable.
Exactly, and he's partnered with rookie Gabriel Bortoleto.
Bortoleto, another highly rated youngster.
Yeah, he's got a lot of raw talent.
So it'll be fascinating to see how this pairing develops.
Absolutely. All right, let's wrap things up with Haas.
Haas. They've got Kevin Magnussen and Pietro Fittipaldi.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise pairing, I have to say.
I know, right? But Magnussen is always a threat.
He is. He's aggressive. He's fearless. And he's not afraid to ruffle some feathers.
In Fittipaldi, well, he's got a lot to prove.
He does. But this is his chance to show what he can do.
All right, so we've covered all 10 teams. What a lineup.
I know, right? This season is going to be epic.
All right, so we've talked about all these other teams with their shakeups and rookie debuts. But there's one team we haven't mentioned yet. And they've had the biggest change of all.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about Mercedes, right?
Exactly. The 8-time consecutive Constructors' Champions. A team that's been synonymous with dominance in Formula One. But this year, they're going into the season without Lewis Hamilton for the first time in nearly a decade.
It's definitely the end of an era. I mean, Hamilton has been the face of Mercedes for so long. It's going to be strange seeing them without him.
It is, and it's going to be fascinating to see how they perform without him. But they still got George Russell.
Oh, yeah, Russell. He's been waiting in the wings for his chance to shine. Now he's finally got it.
Exactly. He's no longer in Hamilton's shadow. He's the team leader now.
And he's got a pretty exciting teammate, too, Kimi Antonelli, the 18-year-old prodigy.
Antonelli. F1 Blogs has been calling him the next big thing, comparing him to a young Hamilton or Verstappen.
Yeah, the hype is real with this kid. He dominated Formula 2 last year.
So the question is, can he live up to the hype in Formula One? Can he handle the pressure?
Well, that's what we're all going to be watching to see, right? But Mercedes wouldn't have signed him if they didn't think he was the real deal.
That's for sure. And you know what? I think this is actually a really good situation for both Russell and Antonelli. Russell finally gets to be the team leader, and Antonelli gets to learn from one of the best young drivers in the sport.
I agree. It's a win-win situation. And who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us all and challenge for the championship.
It would be amazing to see Mercedes back on top.
Yeah.
But they've got some tough competition this year. Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, they're all looking strong.
Yeah, the 2025 season, it's shaping up to be one of the most competitive we've seen in a long time.
I agree. And I can't wait to see how it all plays out. We've got intense teammate battles. We've got rookies trying to make a name for themselves. We've got new regulations shaking things up. It's going to be a wild ride.
You got that right. And that's what makes Formula One so great. The unpredictability, the drama, the excitement.
Absolutely. So, to everyone listening, get ready for an incredible season of Formula One. We'll be back next week to break down all the action from the first race. But until then, keep your eyes on F1 Blogs for all the latest news and analysis.
And let the countdown to lights out begin.